But for now, let's cross to our reporter Natasha Puri for the latest on the IEC results as they continue to trickle in. Natasha Puri, you've spoken to various political parties. Talk to me who you have there with you on the floor and what do they have to say?
Well, thank you very much, United. Before I actually go to my guest, I'll just ask my colleague Bongani Msomi to actually follow me and we'll go interview Mr. Msomi from the UDM. You've put a sharp focus on the Eastern Cape and of course you know that that is a stronghold of the UDM. With the numbers trickling in, Unati, they have around 30,998 so far, which translates to around 2%. Of course, we know how they performed in the 2016 polls. Overall, they got over 200,000 votes, which translates to 0.62%. But I'm actually joined by Mr. Msomi. Mr. Msomi, if you could just kindly stand up and just face our cameras, please. You're live on the SABC News channel, of course. Mr. Msomi is the Secretary General of the UDM. You've seen the numbers trickling in from the Eastern Cape. You've got over 30,000 votes so far. Is this comforting for the party?
Well, I cannot say it is comforting, but what I would like to say is that right from the word go, as the UDM, we were very skeptic about the elections were going to go ahead because we were not sure that the IEC was going to be ready. But now we've been vindicated because you have heard yourself, the IEC admitting that there were so many glitches. We've got a number of voters who were turned away from the voting stations because they did not appear on the voters' roll. But we were told that the IEC only discovered yesterday that those people that registered during the voter registration weekend were not uploaded to their system. So what is that? So we cannot say that we are happy because we are one of those, the victims, because our voters could not vote. Then we did try to address this issue with the IEC yesterday in our meeting of the NPHC meeting. Then we were promised that these people were going to be sent SMSs so that they can come back and vote.
And some of them actually did go back to the voting stations and vote.
They did go back to their voting stations, but they were still denied their constitutional right to vote because of some glitches again. Because the MEC 7 forms were not available in the voting stations. And some of the voting stations, as you are aware, they ran out of ballot papers very early, just before 12 noon yesterday. So then you ask yourself, how can the IEC claim that it was ready?
Mr. Msomi, just briefly before we go to the AIC and just a brief, explanation or answer from you. It's clear that you're disgruntled. You feel as if the UDM has been robbed. How will this impact your numbers, seeing that, the trajectory of the party at the polls has actually been on a downward spiral?
No, it will definitely impact on us negatively. That is for sure, because we have got a number of people. And what we must also mention is that the glitches that were discovered yesterday by the IEC didn't start yesterday. No, it has been when we were submitting our nomination forms. We have got what candidates that were dropped and others were featured in wrong words. So we are still addressing that issue with the IEC.
Mr. Msomi, thank you so much and all the best, of course, at the polls. I'll ask my colleague once again, Bongani Msomi, just to follow me. And we're going to be speaking to Unati, one of the representatives here of the AIC, the African Independent Congress. Of course, you would know this party, Unati, is in a coalition with the ANC in several municipalities, like the city of Johannesburg, which was under the GLU, Government of Local Unity, and of course Ekurhuleni. I am joined by none other than Margaret Arnolds. How are you, ma'am?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. A pleasure seeing you today. I see you're in a jovial mood. Your numbers in Ekurhuleni are looking up, around over 200,000 wards that you've claimed so far, or actually votes that you've claimed so far, beg your pardon, votes there. Are you happy with this number?
Correction, it's not 200,000.
Okay.
It's 200,000 votes that was cast,
yes.
But we are currently sitting on the to 2,000 some odd, which would probably give us a seat. Okay? And we are quite happy with it. We understand the game of politics. We understand that you can't win them all. We know that the game changes at times. The game has changed because there was no delivery. We know that South Africa is in a crisis. We know that service delivery was appalling. We also know that the city of Johannesburg, of which I am part of under the government of local unity, we have started the accelerated service delivery, and I think people have seen the difference. But you ask yourself, why are people not here? Why have people not voted? People are angry. People have a different way of showing their frustration, of showing their anger. And as the AIC, we believe that people are protesting. People are saying enough is enough. We cannot vote today, and we must go and march tomorrow. And we know that's the norm. So people have decided, we have marched, and now we are going to leave you, and you do what you have to do. So that is what we believe. But we also know that
I'm so sorry. I will join you later on. I'm out of time right now. I actually have to cross back to my colleague, Unathi, who is in studio. Back to you, Unathi.
Natasha Phiri, thank you so much for that. Of course, plenty to speak about, particularly with these political parties here on the ground. We'll return with more of your analysis and top stories when we come back. Stay with us.